I'd like to now call to order the June 13, 2023 regular meeting of the Everett Public School Board of Directors to order. We will start with section 2.0. Director Herman will be reading the land acknowledgement.
We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish, Snohomish, and Tulalip peoples. We express our deepest respect and gratitude to the ancestors of this land on whose shoulders we stand. In Everett Public Schools, we strive to create equitable outcomes and build a culture of inclusive belonging for all students, teachers, staff, and community.
Thank you very much, Director Herman. We'll now move to section 3.0. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the secretary please call the roll?
President Lassane.
Present.
Vice President Mitchell. Director Herman.
Present.
Director Nichols.
Present.
Director Mason.
Present.
Student Representative Colley.
Present.
Student Representative Gilbertson.
Present.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Our first item of business under section 5.0 is the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Saltzman, would you introduce the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and the public this evening. Tonight's agenda contains the following: a segment for recognitions, the superintendent's report, segment for board comments, a segment for public comments, segment for routine business, a segment for information and discussion, segment for new business, and a segment for upcoming agenda items. Since publishing the agenda, the following changes was made to the agenda. Item 7.01, the superintendent's report, the presentation was added. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saltzman. Is there a motion for the adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you very much. It's been moved by Director Herman and seconded by Director Mason to adopt tonight's agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries. Tonight's agenda has been adopted. We shall now move to section 6.0, which is a very special section. And it is the retiring of student representative to the school board. I must say, I had the opportunity and pleasure to be involved with starting to have student representatives on the board back in 2011. And it has worked out enormously. We couldn't do this work without being engaged with student voice and student ideas and students sitting on the board with us. And I'm so grateful to have had student rep Benta Colley on our board. She has been a positive influence on us from day one. She has grown so much, and I know she will continue to be a leader and a representative of her peers and a representative of her community in whatever she endeavors. I'd like to give the opportunity to the other board members to express their thoughts and appreciation for Ms. Colley. Director Herman.
First, Student Representative Colley, I just want to say what a pleasure it's been. As I said in the beginning, you have more experience on this board than I do, and it has been fantastic to see you work in action, especially in Olympia. That was seeing you speak with legislators and just really share your story, share your voice. I know you have a very, very bright future, and thank you for sharing these last 2 years with the Everett School Board.
I as well. You really have always enjoyed you on the board. You always have great things to say and report and add to our discussion. And I know that no matter what you do, you'll there's no way around it. And I wish you much success and luck, whatever the future brings you.
Director Mason?
Yes, I concur. And I think we often talk about the value you bring to the board, and I hope that this experience has been a value to you too, going forward. You do have a very bright future. So, and the biggest thing is you came on during COVID, and you had to navigate that, and you did that with grace, and were able to come back in person, although I recall once you didn't know actually how to get around the building because you'd never really been in the building. I thought, it's terrible. But congratulations. This is kind of your retirement party here. Congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing where you go next, how you do.
Student Rep Gilbertson, yes.
It was absolutely wonderful being able to meet you this year and have you as like a mentor through this whole experience. And the Olympia trip was just a great experience to like meet you and like get to know you some more. And yeah, thank you.
Well, before you go, and I promise to get you out of here, what, like 9 o'clock, maybe 10? You'll still go home, it'll be light. Okay, so don't worry about it. Before you go, we have a plaque that we would like to present to you as directors here on the school board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get up.
You got to go take a picture.
Picture, plaques.
Stand behind them.
Behind. Yeah.
Presented to Bente Holly from Cascade High School in appreciation of your services. Oh my gosh, I forgot my glasses. As a student representative to the Board of Directors from September 2021 to June 2023.
Yeah, they were right in the little spot.
Good at that.
And don't worry, you'll get home before it's dark. So please stay with us. We don't want to get you. Yeah, we want you here. We want you here. No, we want to do that now. We want to do that now.
Yes, go
Dr.
ahead.
Saltzman, do
Yes,
you have a few words
yes.
you want to say?
Binta, first I want to thank you for being a partner and always meeting with me and discussing things that makes the district better. You've been a great leader. I've seen you grow in this position, and I'm so proud of you. And also, we're going to miss you. But Tuesday nights, we'll still call you while you're in college to make sure you understand what's happening.
You can zoom in.
We could zoom in. But thank you for everything. I want to just tell you that Binta's done an amazing job. For those that just met Binta tonight, she's just been a great leader and a great listener. And we have a little celebration for you right now. And if there's any words that you'd like to say to the public or to the board this evening, go right ahead.
I just want to say thank you for a great opportunity. I really appreciated my time I've had on the board, and thank you to the whole board for welcoming me in when I came in, especially when I didn't know how to get around when I first got here. But it has been a great opportunity, and I've learned so much that I will take on with me into my future years. And maybe you'll see me on Zoom next year. But thank you so much for all the opportunities you've given me, and I've had a great time, especially on the Olympia trip. That was so much fun. Thank you.
I'm not sure what we're going to do with going down to the to see our representatives, because your voice is very important to them, and what you've told them over the years has been spot on, and I think they listen more to you than they listen to us. So thank you for what you've done. I really truly appreciate it. Thank you. So what do we have?
We have some bundt cakes in your honor. Okay, Binta? So thank you. Please.
Okay,
Yes, please.
please, come, let's come forward.
bun cake time. I think you have to go get a bun cake. You too, Alice.
Little hats. Thank you. Oh, don't forget, we got plates here. And bins. Alice, fresh behind you.
They're so cute.
Well, no, they're good plates.
There's more over here. Thank you. Yeah. Did you want lunch, Alex? Well, I heard you say that. Go for it. Yes, please. Oh, no. That is Well, we have another graduate from 5th grade in the audience with us too, and she's sitting in the back. And isn't that a wonderful thing? Congratulations.
It's always nice.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to celebrate with us our recognition of our students representative with us. Thank you. We'll now move to section 7.0, which is the superintendent's report. Dr. Saltzman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public this evening. And by the way, you can't leave until all the bundt cakes are finished, so don't get too comfortable. Okay, good evening. Well, it's this time of year with graduations coming up, so the senior grad walk was a tradition of many of our schools that have been following. Seniors head back to their elementary and middle schools where they began their educational journey. It's always joyful occasion, such inspiration for our younger learners. So I want to say right now, congratulations to the class of 2023. And this is the week of our graduation. So it's a very, very exciting time. Recently, we just held the 2023 retiree reception here at the Community Resource Center. And kudos to all our retirees, and to our board that was there, and to our HR department led by Dr. Golden. It was a wonderful event. Family and friends were able to see their loved ones honored by the schools in their department. I did some math, and there was a combined total of 1,148 years of service that was celebrated that evening. 1,148 years of service that was celebrated. So think about every morning that those people got up. It's a lot of hours. It's a bittersweet occasion, as you know, but filled with gratitude for these team members who have made such an impact in our district and the lives of all our students. Well, are we wild about learning? Because guess what? It's time to kick off summer learning. Opportunities are going to be had, and we're reading a great book called Wild About Books by Judy Sierra. That was also led by our summer programs by Dr. Jeannie Willard. And we have many opportunities this summer for our students to keep learning during the break. We want you reading during the break, okay? We want you having fun, but also reading. You can have fun doing both. So please go to our homepage and listen to the story and discover all the kind of activities that we're going to do this summer for our students' learning. So to enjoy the summer and to continue learning is our theme, and we hope that our youngsters get to do that. Our summer meals program will begin on July 5th. So if everybody could please take note of that. We offer our free meals to all children 1 to 18 years of age, and that's going to be posted on our homepage. So you'll see that on the July 5th meal service, and that will be posted on our homepage. Monday, June 19th is Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, and all our schools and offices will be closed that day. And then also on, I know it's way ahead of schedule, but I like to start early. I know way ahead, but we need volunteers for August 11th and August 16th. That's going to be where we do Stuff the Bus. That's where we provide so much for our youngsters in our community. So there are over 100 2-hour shifts available. Mark it down as you come back from vacation, back to the beautiful sun here in the Pacific Northwest, and you're resting and enjoying that. On August 11th through 16th, we're going to Stuff the Bus, and that's led by our community and Kay Fanton, everybody that helps out, so many people, so thank you. There's a lot of end of school activities, a lot of things happening in our district for our youngsters as we celebrate, we say goodbye, and a new journey begins for our students as they continue moving up. Thursday, June 22nd is the last day of school as we begin summer break. And I want to say to everybody, thank you for a fantastic year. But also I want everybody to have a wonderful time with family and friends. Please recharge. Recharge. We want our community to recharge and to stay healthy over the summer, and our kids to have fun and read and do all that. But for our entire school system and an entire city that supports us, please enjoy your summer break, and June 22nd will be our last day. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saltzman. We'll now move to section 8.0. And the purpose of this agenda item is for directors and student representatives to have an opportunity to share what they have encountered through their work in the district, in schools, as well as in the community. So, let us start, if it's possible, to start with Director Herman. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
First of all, thanks for doing the math and the retirement celebration. I was able to attend that, and the room over there at the CRC is packed with a lot of love and respect, and that's a lot of years of service. So it was a wonderful event to see. I also wanted to give an update. In the last couple of weeks, we've held sort of thank you meetings for our legislators. So we met with, several of us met with Senator John Levick of the 44th District at Mill Creek Elementary. So thank you to Principal Cindy Foster for organizing that meeting. Senator June Robinson and Representative Julio Cortez of the 38th District at Hawthorne Elementary School. Thank you to Principal Jacob Ellsworth for that. That was kind of neat because that also include the Family Resource Center there. And also Representative Lillian Ortiz-Self of the 21st District at Silver Lake Elementary School. So thank you to Principal Teresa Campbell. These are just really great opportunities after this long legislative session to take a moment to thank them. And they're such wonderful, strong supporters that we have, and to keep them engaged in our schools. So thank you also to the superintendent's office for setting all those opportunities up. I thought it was very valuable. Also, thank you to Director Ann Arnold. Yesterday, I was able to visit the Bezos Academy up here in Everett, and I just want to encourage, if there's any other directors that want to take a look over there. They opened up in March and have about 60 students, and this is a Montessori-style preschool. Fantastic program. We were able to talk with some families that are going to be coming into Everett School District, and some that already are. They have their older siblings at schools, and so it was a great opportunity to connect with them. And also, just along these lines, expressing my appreciation that our district has such great relationships and partnerships with our preschools and those early childhood programs. I think it helps with the transition of coming into kindergarten. And then, of course, congratulations to all the graduating seniors coming up. We have Sequoia Thursday, all the comprehensive high schools on Saturday, and our goal students for special ed next week. Yes. So it reminds me of, in kindergarten, we start out with tea and tissues when they come in and they get dropped off. And this is sort of the end of all of our families. I'd be curious of the stats on how many of our families actually have spent those 13 years all in Everett Public Schools. Finishing off with a happy Father's Day to all of our dads out there. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Herman. Director Nichols.
Don't have much to add other than just saying thank you again to Binta for service, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you walk the line on Saturday. So as well with everybody else, always looking forward to this. Is like my favorite time of the year, so it's going to be a good week for us, I think.
Yeah, it's celebration season. I love this time of year too. And I also was able to attend the legislative thank you, I guess, at Hawthorne. And it was, I just think, so profound to bring those folks into our schools and have them walk around and also see the resource center there. But the garden that Hawthorne Elementary has begun is so cool. If you have not seen it, you need to get by and check it out. I also had the opportunity to attend the first, I think it's going to be an annual Robert Polk Heart Healthy event at the stadium here. Just creating awareness around getting healthy and keeping healthy. I think it's a great opportunity for both our students and our staff there's always room for improvement, I think. And then let's see, I got see the middle school art show, just incredible talent in our district. It's just unbelievable when you see these, I mean, they're yay high, and the art that they produce is just unbelievable. And it was just so fun to be able to honor them, and also a lot of proud parents in the room. And then attended another multicultural night at Silver Firs, and I love that they're all similar, but they're all different because each school has a different community. And so I learn about new cultures almost at every one I attend, and just really fun to see. It's always a celebration. A lot of great food too, if you want to get by. And then, the mock interviews, I got to do more of those. And I think that's probably maybe one of my favorite activities as a director. So really fun. Looking forward to graduation this week. It's a busy, busy week, but it's just so fun to be welcomed into all these families, one of the most special occasions of some of these people's lifetime. It's a big milestone. As I like to say, though, it's on the journey of life. It's just a quick stopover, but an important one. So anyhow, looking forward to that. You're up last time.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I'm very excited for commencement, which is coming up this Saturday. Cascade's graduation is at 7 p.m. at the Angel of the Winds Arena, if anyone wants to come. It'd be great to see you there. Just another thank you to the board for all they've done for me and giving me the chance to work alongside the district. It's been a great opportunity, and I'm glad with everything I've learned. So thank you. And I also want to say thank you to Dr. Salzman for always being there and being on every meeting at 3 p.m., our Zoom meetings, calling me at 2:55 p.m. to make sure I'd be there. And just being there for the district in general. You've been a great person and a great superintendent, and it's been amazing to work alongside you. So thank you to all of you for getting me where I am today.
Thank you. Student Rep. Gilbertson.
So this past week we had our field day at Everett High for like the first time since COVID. And I think it was just a great way that you could see like EHS's spirit, because it was raining the whole time. We didn't get that nice sunshine like the rest of that week, but everyone was just having such a good time, just seeing the lines of people and just everyone just being with one another. Like we even had one of the clubs was selling plants to people to raise money for their club, which was really cool. And they're continuing that into this week as well. Also, one of my classes I take is a CTE class, Engineer Your World. And that has been such a great experience this year to like learn all these different things about engineering. And that's a field that I now am thinking of going into because of this class that is presented at our school. And then also I was able to get out of class a few minutes early and join the seniors in our senior countdown today. And just to see all of them so excited to just, it's the end and they get to go to this new start for them. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Student Rep. Gilbertson. Since the last board meeting, I've had the opportunity to attend the Athletics Award Night. And I would like to congratulate all of our honorees for their commitment to a healthy lifestyle, as well as their academic prowess. Because what I notice is that these are student athletes, which put students before the athletics, because they had GPAs that were, oh my gosh, in the 4.0, 3.9, 3.8889 arena. And it's just so impressive. I do want to say congratulations to them for their excellence at being athletes, as well as students that are really going to put their mark in the world. I would also like to thank our coaches for their mentorship and their leadership in helping students along their way, their journey. And so thank you for them. You know, I truly believe there is power in participating in sports, because for some, sports is what brings them to school and keeps them in school, students in school. So congratulations to all. I also had the opportunity of honoring our retirees, and each of them has had a direct impact on our students. I'd like to thank them for their outstanding service, and thank you for adding up all the years, Dr. Salzman. It's not just to our students, but you know, they have an impact on the community as well. Because a lot of students may only have a few 13 years in the school district, but they're followed by brothers and sisters, and then the parents, and then the community members, and just continues to roll. So I would like to say thank you and congratulate them for their service well done. We'll now move to section 9.0, which is our public comment section. The school board sets aside this time during our regular board meetings just to hear from our constituents. We do this because we value your input and we want to hear what you are bringing to the table. Our board meetings are designed to conduct district business in public in an orderly fashion. Please remember, public comments are part of the agenda, and it is for boards to listen to what you have to say. It's not for debate or discussion. Board members will not respond to individual comments. We welcome ideas and opinions presented in the same spirit. And as board president, I have the responsibility to ensure that all meeting and all conversation, all meeting agenda items and all conversations and business actions are orderly and productive and respectful. Thank you for helping me in advance to do that job. First, we will hear from our online speaker, and then we will go to those speakers that are in person. Tonight, we have online speaker Mr. Thomas Clark. He is a parent and will be speaking about staffing at Jackson Elementary School. You will have 3 minutes to speak and present your position. You may not be able to see it here, but I will let you know when the green light comes on. The yellow light, when it comes on, it will mean you have 30 seconds, and the red light will indicate that your time is up. Mr. Clark, you may start.
Good evening, members of the board, Madam President. Thank you very much for opening up the floor for public comment. I greatly appreciate the fact that you have an online option because I work in Seattle and I couldn't make it down. The purpose for my comments tonight are to address some concerns that I have over the staff reductions, particularly the fact that the school that my children attend, Jackson Elementary, is losing an administrator and also some paraprofessionals. I understand that the board was faced with some difficult decisions given the $29 or so million budget shortfall for next year, 2023-24. But my concern is that there could be a detrimental effect on school environment, safety, the ability for children who have special needs to have their IEP meetings and other items that the additional administrator was covering at Jackson Elementary School. So I would just like to ask that in the future, if we could have like an ongoing dialogue regarding how the responsibilities left behind by the administrators that's being left at Jackson, that's leaving Jackson, is how those responsibilities are gonna be taken over. I've heard from one of the assistant superintendents and also from Mr. Lerma, and both of them sound like they have an excellent plan. My concerns are just that, losing that additional administrator is going to have a detrimental effect on the best interests of the children. And I believe there are some other parents in the audience there that share similar concerns. But that being said, I just wanted to say that Mr. Lerma is an excellent principal. We have a great community. We have a strong PTA at Jackson Elementary School, and I'm hopeful for next year. But I'm just concerned that some of these staff reductions may have a detrimental effect on the best interests of the child, as far as the students at the school. And I really appreciate the opportunity to speak and get that on the record. And I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. We appreciate your coming forward. We'll now go to the list of people that are going to be speaking in person. The first person is a parent or a guardian, is an employee of the district, is a resident of the district, Mr. Aaron Gay.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Aaron Gay and I am a parent and grandparent of students at Jackson Elementary. I also volunteer in several capacities at the school, as well as serve as the current PTA co-president. I appreciate the opportunity to address you this evening regarding the decision to eliminate the position of vice principal at Jackson Elementary School. Honestly, I'm confounded by it. We were told in March that due to the deficit that there would be drastic cuts throughout the district, and district spokesperson Kathy Reves was quoted in the news as saying, "We're committed to making reductions that will have the least impact on our students and will continue to provide rigorous instruction in a safe and welcoming environment." Specifically at Jackson Elementary, we were told that we would be losing our brand new vice principal position as part of those cuts, but those cuts would be equitable throughout the district. Approximately 3 weeks ago, an email was circulating that suggested that there was good news that the financial outlook for the district was not as bad as originally expected. Yet our vice principal position, even if we're only part-time, was still not deemed necessary in providing for the rigorous instruction of the students at Jackson Elementary. In asking further questions around the district, I was told that Jackson Elementary is the only Title I school to have lost the full-time administrative position entirely, which certainly doesn't fit the equitable model. I was then told that the state recommended administrator level for a school of 400 students is 1.2. So because our enrollment is around 340, we don't qualify for more than one. And yet there's another tier 1 elementary school in our district that only has 400 students, but qualifies for 2 full-time administrators. Again, it doesn't seem very equitable. Then I was told that the other elementary school has more disciplinary issues than Jackson Elementary and therefore warrants extra administrators. However, I don't understand how those numbers add up. This year at Jackson Elementary with 2 full-time administrators, there are still classrooms at several grade levels where a majority of the students are not getting the rigorous instruction promised because of the current district disciplinary policies that hinder the process of student evaluation and placement into more suitable programs. Even though there are lots of fluffy statements being thrown around about the resources that Jackson Elementary currently has, the bottom line is that the district is removing a full-time administrative position on a campus that's barely holding its own and expecting that current positions will simply be able to pick up the slack. We are blessed to have a good principal, but I'm not sure that one person can be the principal, vice principal, and math coach all at the same time effectively. In regard to the equitable cuts, I've asked for but have failed to actually receive data as to what positions are being eliminated at other tier 1 schools that can make this cut somehow equitable as suggested. Most businesses invest in the future knowing that it takes a few years for those investments to make a difference. The current vice principal has only been here this year and will not be with us next year. And so it feels like we're cutting and running. Add to these questions the fact that it is happening at a school where last February we asked the constituents of the district to pay for a new levy to build a new school, and yet now we're taking those resources away. I'm here because I believe in Jackson Elementary School and I want it to be one of the best schools in our district. I will be the new PTA president and getting volunteers, as many as we can on campus to help us students, but there's only so much we can do. The balance that we need lies with you. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gay. The next person will be Mr. Clyde Carter. He is a parent, a resident of the district as well, talking about Cascade and Jackson. Again, the green blip indicates your time has started for 3 minutes. The yellow will indicate that you have 30 seconds left, and the red blip will indicate that your time is up. Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Board, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I'm just going to get started. You know, we all know each other, just so you know. I'm glad Tom broke the ice, and we have Aaron, who is our fearless PTA leader. So I'm the nerd, so I'm just going to get to the questions, all right? This is what I want to know and what we as a community need to know. We have set aside a group that we are creating on our own because we have lost faith, not in you, but just in the situation, right? And we have to know how to respond, and we can't do that without doing our own discovery. So that said, we need to know what the results were for the panorama audit you just did, or actually for the last 3 years for Heatherwood specifically. And that is with due respect to the principal approval rating over the last 3 years. Like I said, we want raw metrics, nothing that has been put in a PowerPoint or anything like that. We're going to we actually went on our own, and we have talked to administrators, we've talked to students, we've talked to basically the same sample that you did on our own. And we want to overlay that on top of what you have so we can see if there's any using big words, if there's any discrepancy between the two, that we can work with you to figure out how to get better. Specifically, we want to focus on success criteria, student behavioral health metrics, how many interventions, how many referrals, how many procedural mitigations you've had by school. Okay, by school. We want to see a side-by-side comparison of how students and staff feel about their principal and assistant principal from the perspective of effectiveness as a leader at the school level, as well as what your numbers say. Okay, that's the first thing that I want. The second thing that I want is I want to know what discovery was done for Learning Improvement Fridays with respect to the post-implementation impact to our community economy, especially in single parent households where the sole breadwinner is the child's only form of transportation. Let's not talk about bus transportation. That's a whole new thing, but we want that data on Learning Improvement Fridays. Those are the two things that, where we can get very descriptive and say, hey, we need 1 year to vet the decision to remove this, this assistant principal and work as a community to get you back on track with your budget, because that's what it's about. We can talk about the assistant principals. I believe there are probably like 14 to 17 of them that do not have a situation after they have lost their job. Most of the parents are hearing that they retired. They did not retire, they were riffed. So as a community, I've gone back to my soft friends on the east side of this place, and we're gonna do something about it, because what I've learned is that people that come to this stuff, and we wanna provide solutions. We're coming up with the Everett Virtual Academy replacement. It's called Knowledge University. That will go live in August. Okay, we have a group of developers we're going to do it on our own for the community, and we're going to give Rich Maddow his job back. We are going to fund teachers for content creation, for tutoring instead of the virtual academy, and we're going to trade this content across the country, and hopefully we can give some sort of stuff back to our community. Social networks.
Thank you very much.
And peer puzzle.
Thank you very much,
Scan
Mr.
my shirt.
Mr. Carter. Thank you so much.
And that is my mentor, just so everybody knows. I respect all of you.
Thank you. The next person we have on our list of public comments is Mr. Vincent Phillips. He is a resident of the district, and he's going to be here to talk about environmental sustainability.
When my mom asked me if I was worried about climate change happening, I said no. Climate change is already here and has already started to affect us and will only get worse. We're too late to stop it. We might not be able to stop it, but we can slow it down. My name is Vincent Phillips, and this year I am a freshman finishing the AP Environmental Science course at Jackson High School. In this course, we went over different methods of making a more sustainable society and also conducted audits for our homes. We went through the garbage to see how much we are currently recycling and composting, how much water we use, estimated our electricity usage, as well as our car efficiency and the hours we use them. Based on these data, we were asked to think of solutions to improve the sustainability of different components of our lives. I asked one of my friends, Sean Boutar, what his thoughts were while I was writing this speech. This is what he said. The district needs to do something about climate change because everyone in the school district has contributed to climate change. If you have a car, you contributed. If you ever had a burger, you contributed. Even just by existing in society today, you will have contributed to the problem. Only by doing your part will everyone be able to put an end to climate change for future generations to thrive. We've messed up Earth long enough, so let's do our part to help fix it. I strongly agree with this, and so would many of my friends. Today, you will be asked to adopt a commitment to sustainability. I hope you do so and take action. If we conduct audits for our individual homes, I would like to see the district conduct audits for the schools. You can get students to volunteer and help as a way to feel like we are helping to contribute to a better environment. After conducting the audits, I think it would be great if the district were to make the appropriate changes to help us live sustainably. We can't stop climate change, but we can work together to slow the impact. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. And you are this is a Jackson High School freshman. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next speaker will be Clarissa Phillips. She is a parent of a Jackson High School student, I assume, Mr. Vincent Phillips. Again, I would like to remind you that the green blip indicates your 3 minutes have started. The yellow blip will indicate that you have 30 seconds, and the red blip will indicate that your time is up.
Good evening. My name is Clarissa Phillips, and I am the Advocacy Chair for the Everett PTSA Council. Our council represents 27 local PTAs for a total of 4,166 members. I am also a member of the Green Schools Work Group, a community group comprised of staff, former staff, and parents who are working together to further sustainability efforts in the district. Finally, I was privileged to be a member of the district's Sustainability Advisory Committee, which met this year under the guidance of Mike Gunn. 1 year ago, almost to the day, I stood here to tell you about the sustainability resolution that the Everett PTSA Council had adopted. Today, I'm here to continue that conversation and to encourage further action in our district. As a result of that resolution, the Everett PTSA Council appointed its first sustainability chair, Mioke McGuire. Our council was also excited to see the district form the Sustainability Advisory Committee, and I eagerly joined. I'm proud of the work we did as a committee and of the sustainability commitment we helped to draft. I'm here tonight to urge you to adopt the sustainability commitment on behalf of Everett School District and to use it as a guide for taking further action. I would love to see the district consider the following actions. First, please consider transitioning the Sustainability Advisory Committee to a permanent advisory council. Including the voices of the community, especially students, is essential to furthering this effort in an equitable, representative way. This will additionally help achieve the goal of developing a culture of collaboration, which is established by the sustainability commitment. Several committee members, including myself, expressed an interest in continuing this work with the district. Second, please develop corresponding policies and procedures to operationalize the sustainability commitment. As you develop these, I urge you to do so through a lens of environmental justice. Finally, please consider backing this commitment with designated staff to guide these crucial efforts. There are so many potential benefits to this work. Although there are initial upfront costs to some strategies, there are long-term prospective cost savings with energy, water, and waste efficiency efforts. Additionally, students will directly benefit from these efforts. Here's just one example. A study from 2019 demonstrated that students in districts that reduced diesel bus emissions experienced statistically significant gains in English and math test scores, not to mention the health impact of that improved air quality. Our district has already taken great steps toward these goals, and I believe adopting the sustainability commitment is another important milestone. Let's continue on this path toward creating a more sustainable district for our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Phillips. Moving on to the next speaker this evening. Harry McAllister is an employee at Lowell Elementary. Coming forward with a question or topic on policy 4207, which is regulation of firearms and dangerous weapons on school district property.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and I'll try to keep my emotions in check here. But I'm really concerned about the idea of this proposed revision allowing for concealed weapons to be on our school properties or anywhere near them. I want to advocate for the safety of our students and staff, not just at my school, but district-wide. We're seeing this uptick in mass shootings all across our country. And it's no coincidence that when we have more weapons, more guns available, we have more mass shootings. If nobody's bringing a weapon, we're all going to be safer. Even the idea of it coming to board meetings, that also presents a concern that, we might have people that are feeling intimidated and less likely to speak up. Thus creating an imbalance of power. So then where's the equality and representation? I'd like to present some data. If you'll hang there with me. So just from a few articles that I've pulled, we've got, even looking back from 2015, we had 40 mass shootings across the US. And it's risen every year since then. Thank you. 2018, it went up to 119. And then this year, we're at 406. This year alone, 406 school shootings, mass shootings. We've got 179 incidents, 135 victims, 3 in Washington, 4 victims here in Washington, just in 2023. I have kids that come to me and they tell me that they're afraid to come to school, and this is without this revision in place. They're already afraid. They can't learn if they don't feel safe. Data has shown that the looser a state's gun laws are, the more mass shootings it has. There's research that shows that for every 10-point relaxation in the state's gun laws, the rates of mass shootings in that state increased by 11.5%. And I'm only just getting started. That's just scratching the surface. Please don't loosen those restrictions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. McAllister. Thank you. Our next speaker is going to be, and please forgive me for not pronouncing your name right, I apologize, Anna Garhe? Is that?
Angie.
Okay.
Probably my bad handwriting.
She's going to be speaking on behavioral issues at Jackson Elementary and the departure of the AP and impact on her IEP child. Thank you.
Hello, members of the board and Madam President. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I did want to say first off that the social media presence of the district during COVID was personally very helpful to our family. Really appreciate the time and effort that you took to put that out there. It really helped our family feel more included during that time. I am here, I'm a Jackson Elementary parent. I have a 2nd grader and a 4th grader. We were previously at Jefferson as part of the Lighthouse Co-op, and we moved back to our home school because we really believe wanting to be part of that immediate community. And I am concerned about the departure of our assistant principal, specifically with regard to behavioral issues at the school that I do not think will be addressed in her absence. And I would like specific information from the school board as to how the district plans to work with the school to address those issues. My 2nd grade son is profoundly hard of hearing. He does not hear at all in his left ear. When he entered the district at age 2.5, he was told that he was not deaf enough to qualify for services. And because he did not have a developmental delay, we were on our own. Now, fast forward to his 2nd grade, I volunteer in the classroom periodically, and what I have observed with the management of the classroom is really distressing. There is a 1st-year teacher in there who is amazing, and I am not going to say one word negatively about her because she is amazing. And I believe it is the district that is letting her down, not supporting her enough. There are multiple kids in there that need more help, and I can look at as many PowerPoints as you want, but there is nothing specific that I have seen that shows what exactly is being offered to those children and to those families who are wonderful families. We've gone to birthday parties with them, but one of them bit my child. Another one got in his face and said that he was going to kill him. He went to the principal's office and then he came back. What is my child supposed to think about that? Meanwhile, he is fighting just to be able to hear in the classroom because of all of the disorder that's going on during the day. I recently spent 4.5 hours in the classroom. There was 1 math problem, 1 reading problem, and 1 grammar problem. That was the sum total of the learning for that day, because the teacher had to devote the rest of her time to managing the mostly 3 specific students. I understand that budget cuts are real. parents and families need more specific information about what is actually happening to address behavioral issues. Don't even get me started on what is happening at the middle school with my friend's kid that got beat up because she was asking if a classmate was okay. If we don't have the resources in place to actually do things at the elementary school level, it is just going to get worse. And we need specific information, not just we're going to use research-based methods. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garhay. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Mr. Mike Mallory. He is a resident of the district. He's going to be speaking about sustainability resolution.
Madam President, directors, thank you for your service to the community. I am a member of the Green Schools work group, a coalition of Sierra Club members, PTSA leaders, and local educators. The sustainability resolution is important, and we urge its adoption. Although, as important as it is not the end of the process. It is just the beginning. Sustainability is a broad concept, but certainly one essential feature is the idea that our actions today should not degrade conditions for future generations. There are many facets to this perspective, including health, economics, equitable relationships, and the environment. A critical challenge of environmental sustainability for our generation is the reduction of greenhouse gases. The school district provides students with instruction on both the problems of climate change and its solutions. Consistency demands that our administration give this issue the priority it deserves. This resolution does not check the box, but hopefully it is a significant step towards defining what that box is. What does a sustainable school district look like? How do we create carbon-free learning environments? How do we reprioritize capital and operational expenditures in a way to achieve those goals? Where are the funding sources? These questions are not rhetorical. They do not answer themselves. I am aware that both the planning and implementation will require focus, dedication, creativity, and perseverance. The task is too big to hand off to someone whose desk is already full of commitments. I urge you to adopt the resolution and follow up by securing a position for a district sustainability officer with executive level authority to map out a sustainable path forward and develop a plan to successfully make the transit to a carbon-free operation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mallory. Our next person requesting comments is Ms. Teresa Thompson. She is an employee of the district at Lowell Elementary. She will be speaking on House Bill 1640.
Thank you. I kind of got a little ahead of myself and needed a cup of coffee, so I'm actually speaking tonight on 1640 and its relationship to policy 4207, firearms in the schools. So it's a really attention-getting line item, and I thank you for your attention to it. I was cautioned that this was a battle I would not win, and I thought about my career in education and why I do what I do, and it's to encourage students to speak on battles that they may not win. So I'm not going to pretend that I can employ you to act above the state of Washington. I know what you're doing is alignment with the law. I just wanted to remind you that we have a responsibility as global citizens to speak for people who perhaps cannot speak for themselves, and in this case, it's our students. There is no reason to bring a gun to school. I would hope that I'd never have to say those words, but I actually say it quite often. And even though it is the law that a person with a concealed weapons permit can bring that weapon to pick up and drop off, and can have that weapon on school property under certain conditions, that doesn't mean it's right. Now, like I said, I was cautioned that really it's just speaking my mind. But I want you to just kind of remember that the reason you're sitting in those chairs and the reason you're all here is because you're raising human beings. So when you get to the approval of 4207, I mean, I know where this is headed. One of the reasons I work in Everett is because this is a leading school district. I know it takes tremendous momentum to be a leader and to put right above what the law says. And I know, but I just wanted to have you know that we're out there. We're going to work in buildings that are marginally secure, you know, with parents who are kind of have a concealed weapons permit. So thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for all the work that you do to keep our students safe. And when you get to adopting that, just put it in your mind that those kids come into school potentially right next to a car that has a weapons in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Thompson. Those are all the comments that I have before me. Thank you very much. Remember that you will be receiving some comments back from the board in writing, and they will be sent to you by mail or by email, whichever way you preferred to get them. You are welcome to please stay for the remainder of the board meeting, if you'd like. We'll now move to the next item on our agenda, which is the consent agenda. Dr. Salzman, would you like to provide an introduction to the consent agenda?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public this evening. The board's consent agenda includes repetitive business items such as meeting minutes, personnel actions, expense vouchers, surplus lists, gifts and grants, and recurring contracts. Sometimes it includes items that occur less frequently but are of routine business nature. These items are usually reviewed by the board in the Friday report, 1 or more weeks before the board meeting. This gives directors time to ask staff questions or consider a discussion about the policy implications of those items. The board votes on the consent agenda in a single motion. By its definition, a consent agenda is not debatable. In the case of this consent agenda, the superintendent's office received no questions. The consent agenda is presented as published for board approval.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salzman. A motion to adopt the consent agenda is in order.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Director Herman and seconded by Director Nichols to approve the consent agenda. Does any director wish to remove an item from the consent agenda and place it in the new business section of the agenda? I would like to take one item, item 10.13, and place it into new business for further discussion and clarification and understanding.
I'll second.
.13, which is adoption of policy 4207. Since she seconded at this time, do we get a motion? No. Okay, gotcha. All those in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed say no. Item 10.13 will be placed in new business section for further discussion and clarification. Can you update? You'll have to refresh your screen after we go through. The remainder of the consent agenda has been approved. We'll now move to section 11.0, which is our strategic progress monitoring. There are no strategic progress monitoring reports scheduled for this meeting agenda. We'll now move to section 12.0, which is information and discussion. We will be receiving a presentation on the 2023-2028 Affirmative Action Plan as an informational briefing. Dr. Golden is at the podium.
Thank you very much. President Lesane, Board of Directors, Dr. Salzman, I'm excited to share with you the progress the district is making to diversify the workforce. Over the past 5 years, under Dr. Salzman's leadership, we've increased the diversity of our staff. We have much more to do, but we have many celebrations today. One way we monitor our work is a utilization analysis. Every 5 years, a deep analysis is done and presented to the school board as the affirmative action plan renewal. School board approval of our current affirmative action plan occurred in 2018. OSPI no longer requires board action. Analysis of this data drives our work in recruitment and hiring. Our ultimate goal is to hire and retain qualified staff who represent the diversity of our student body. Our goal is to increase the diversity of our workforce by a minimum of 2% annually, which is an ambitious goal. It's important to note that the data presented in this presentation is only as accurate as individuals disclose. New hires are asked to self-identify their race at hire. Some choose to do this, some don't. When an employee does not identify their race, they are coded as white, non-Hispanic. I'd like you to note that terms and wording that I use in this presentation are specific to the federal government and Washington state reporting. The next several slides highlight the analysis in comparison to the previous 2 affirmative action analysis reports. Our analysis looks at 2 groups, females and minorities. The statistically expected utilization is determined by the Snohomish County data for the most recent census. There's a 4/5 or 80% rule, meaning 80% of the total number of females or minorities available in the labor market. The first slide we're looking at is classified female employees. Within the last 10 years, Everett Public Schools continues to meet female utilization goals for paraeducators, office professionals, food service, custodial, and grounds. In the last 5 years, the district has increased utilization in the security group and met affirmative action goals. There continues to be opportunity to meet female utilization goals in the maintenance department, circled in red, underutilized by 1 person. Looking at classified minorities, the district continues to meet goals in the paraeducator and office personnel groups. There is opportunity in food service, custodial, and grounds to meet goals, underutilized by 6 in food service and 1 in custodial grounds. The district is meeting goals in maintenance and security. There's underutilization by 1 person in both transportation and professional technical. When we look at the totals in both classified female and classified minority groups, there's an increase in both, and to note, significant increase in our classified minority group. Looking at certificated females, the district meets affirmative action goals across the groups: administrators, elementary and secondary, teachers, and instructional support. Since our previous affirmative action plan, the 2018 analysis, the district has increased minority utilization in elementary teachers from 10 underutilized to meeting the goal, and secondary teachers from 14 underutilized to meeting the goal. Looking at the totals, For certificated females and minorities, female certificated staff fluctuates but continues to stay significantly above statistically expected utilization. Minority certificated staff increased by 5% over the last 5 years. For 22-23 school year, here's how our new hires self-identified, specifically those new hires who self-reported as minority. This is a celebration. Here are the total number of staff by race. The slide shows Black, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, and Pacific Islander, each broken into 3 categories: administrators, certificated staff, and classified. Progress. The district has increased an overall total minority utilization from 8.9% to 17.6%. The district has increased the number of females in all job groups with the exception of maintenance, which has a low availability of 4.4%. Some of our next steps. As you heard a few months ago in the Recruitment and Retention Strategic Initiative update, our next steps include the recruitment, like our diversifying pathways, our intro to education, our para pathways, as well as support for our interns. Continue to partner with our community and university, local universities using our classified job fair, where we hire candidates on the spot. And as we work to retain our highly qualified staff, build on our wellness program, as well as our staff sense of belonging. Questions?
Thank you very much, Dr. Golden. Is there any questions for, yes?
Thank you for the presentation. This is really quite a celebration. Those are some big jumps in numbers and a lot of green in there. So I appreciate the work that you and your team have done here. My question, and I feel like I ask it every time we have a presentation on this, you know, 2 of our largest subgroups are Russian and Ukrainian, and they just never appear on anything when we talk about diversity and hiring, you know, people that reflect their culture. Do we ever track that internally? I mean, I know this is federal government stuff and that's where we get stuck, but it just seems like to really understand if we're reflecting our students, we would be doing more of that internally.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a statement, not a question, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's an area for us to grow. Something else related to that as well we've discussed is how we may track some of our multilingual staff members, and we don't do that well either.
I mean, that's really, you know, affirmative action is traditionally about race and gender. It's not been about nation of origin or language spoken. But I do agree that that's something we should definitely be tracking.
Director Herman.
Yeah, I'll chime in. The multilingual, that would be fantastic step forward. I'm thinking about so many opportunities there. Did I hear you correctly that the default, when someone does not report, the default goes to white Caucasian? Yes. Okay. And then also just 2 notes. Thank you also for focusing on the retention of staff and continuing to look at that if we're losing staff in some areas.
Adding on to that, we've built systems to gain a much better idea of why people are leaving if they do, and what impacts that has.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And then I just also want to report back that while we've heard this and there is a lot to celebrate, I am hearing it from parents that they are noticing it and appreciating it. So I just wanted to pass that back to you and your team that this is being noticed, and it's great work. So thank you. I know it's a long process. It's not just a matter of hiring, it's a matter of recruiting, and then we talk about pipeline issues. And so thank you.
Well, Director Herman said it very well. I was going to lead you back to slide number 9 and then say something to the effect that look at the delta, the difference, the changes from 2017-18 to 22 23. And then from, for those areas that touch kids, that truly touch kids and see the difference going from a yellow to a green. And that the retention is very important because those are areas where kids see that. And as Director Herman said, people and families see that too. And so that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And I appreciate the work that you're doing there in that area. And we'll just continue to work on that. And I do want to also echo what Director Mason mentioned. Our population that's growing is, we've seen so many Ukrainian families, refugees coming into the neighborhood, but Russian and Ukrainians are coming in. How can we ensure that multi-language learner, student can also, relate and see that we have teachers that speak their language as well, and that, can assist their families and them. So that's important as well, the multi-language learners.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify, the coding as white non-Hispanic, is that a federal guideline?
Yeah, that's the reporting that we follow for Washington State. Yeah.
Oh, for Washington State, okay. Yeah. All right. Because to me, it would be more accurate to just say not identified.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah.
Any questions, anyone else?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We shall now move to section 13.0, which is unfinished business. There are no unfinished business items scheduled for this agenda. Moving on to section 14.0, which is new business. And I see Mr. Gunn is already at the podium on approval of the Everett Public Schools commitment to sustainability.
Well, good evening. Thank you for bearing with me. I have trouble with this thing sometimes.
That's okay, we all do.
So I'm providing to you tonight an update on the work of the Sustainability Advisory Committee.
You got it. You're one button.
One button from it. Thank you. So an update on the work of the advisory committee, as well as asking you to consider approving the work product of that committee, which is a statement of the district's commitment to sustainability. The charge of the committee came out of the board's August workshop last summer, where we provided an update to you on sustainability in the Everett Public Schools, as well as what the environment was out there, so to speak, the regulatory environment that we're dealing with, and many other issues. So based on that, you asked us to work with a committee and to come back with a belief statement around sustainability, and that's what we've done. We also asked the committee to come up with a list of high-level priorities for the district to consider in the sustainability arena, and we've done that as well. So over the course of the year, the committee met 3 times in October, January, and April. And the committee was composed of 26 community members, 4 district support staff, and myself facilitating the work. And I was humbled by the passion and the commitment that everyone in this group had to sustainability. Certainly there was a lot of work done and a lot of passion exhibited by the group. So we kind of corralled that and used it to produce this statement. So now I'm going to go through very briefly, the 3 meetings that we had with the group. The first one was very similar to the meeting we had with you in August, where we covered an overview of the Everett Public Schools, the history of sustainability and current practices in our district, current code and legislative requirements, and tried to show them where the codes were going, how that they're becoming increasingly more strict, especially in our area of the country. And then we asked questions that we asked you. What surprised you and concerned you? What does it mean to you personally? And what aspirations do you have for sustainability? So notice the focus on the individual in the first meeting. The second meeting, we switched that to having them come up with a district-wide perspective on these issues. So meeting number 2, we started off by bringing to their attention, if they hadn't already heard, that the district was facing a pretty significant budget deficit, which really does put a hamper on big moves in the sustainability, because sustainability typically costs money to move in that direction. And then we talked to them about the role of the staff in this process, and we would repeat this little description. So the role of the staff, myself and the other staff members, were to inform the group, give them information to consider, listen to their conversations, facilitate the conversations, process the work that they produce, and then to repeat that. So we did that in this meeting, and then the next meeting. It'll become really more important to understand why we covered that with them in the next slide in the third meeting. But the discussion questions, again, related to moving from an individual perspective to a district-wide perspective. What is sustainability? How does it connect to our vision and mission? Because we wanted to make sure that it connected directly to K-12 education. And then working in small groups, create a high-level statement expressing our district's aspirations or commitment to sustainability. So that was meeting 2. The third meeting, we gave them some brief updates on sustainability issues in our district that were happening or had happened since the last time we met. And then we reviewed a draft sustainability statement that we had prepared using the input from the committee over the first 2 meetings. So this brings back the importance of covering the role of staff in that. So we wanted them to look at this statement, this draft statement, as if it were theirs, because that was our intention, and our goal was to make it their work. And so I very carefully connected a lot of documents together in colored versions so that they could see how the input they produced in the first 2 meetings connected to the paragraphs in the commitment statement. And then we started with this draft statement up on the screen with the flat panels, and actually in this part of the room over here, and had them in real time provide suggestions in small groups and then in the larger group conversation to provide modifications to this statement so that it really became more theirs. So that was the work that we did with them. And then we also, this statement, we came up with 6 paragraphs that basically each one of them connected to various themes or topics in their input. We thought it was appropriate to take those and list them in order of priority. So they did that, and that's when we moved the paragraph dealing with connections or the implications for students. That became the first paragraph instead of it was actually near the end of the list before. So that's what they did, and now I'm going to go through that commitment statement. The I'll just kind of give some comments for context on the way through this. The first part of it, the Board of Directors of the Everett Public Schools hereby commits the district to sustainability in decision-making, operations, programs, curriculum, and culture. We really did work that, and in fact, in the next paragraph, it starts off, in Everett Public Schools. That phrase wasn't originally in there. We thought it was important to put in there because we weren't trying to create a definition for the world. We were trying to create a definition for ourselves and make it clear that that's what it means to us, and not necessarily to even Seattle Public Schools or State of Washington or others. So it means finding, for us, we're proposing that it mean a way to develop and thrive while preserving natural and manufactured resources without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Even the language, preserving natural and manufactured resources. The word manufactured was discussed at length with the committee, because you can use other words to describe that. And they just thought it was really important that we include manufactured resources along with natural resources in our definition of sustainability for the Everett Public Schools. So this includes the following, and now we get into our 6 paragraphs. The first one being, most importantly, because these are in order of priority, modeling for and equipping students with the knowledge, skills, behavior, stewardship, and continued learning around sustainability. That, again, each of those words we talked about a lot, especially the modeling, because that was seen as being very important to have our district be and our staff and our behaviors be a model for the students and to prepare them for their life in the community. Operations, this is really 2 paragraphs. The first one, and they may seem very much connected, but the committee thought it was important to separate them because the first one really talks about what we want to increase doing, and the second paragraph is what we want to reduce or to eliminate. Yeah. And so that's how it's packaged. So increase, the first one is this, a district, school, and individual level focus. So they wanted all 3 levels. Focus on increasing the use of renewable energy, recycling, compostable packaging, and reuse of materials. And then to reduce the amount of harmful emissions we generate and the amount of water, energy, and other resources we use. So this is the 4th paragraph, a decision making. The theme that the descriptor that I used for this theme was fiscal resources. It has to do with money, how we decide, how we make decisions around the use of money, which also includes the use of time and other resources. And the key words here that we thought were important were appropriate, achievable, and equitable, because we wanted to make sure that the work around sustainability has to be undertaken in a way that is accomplishable and not just kind of pie in the sky. So it is an appropriate, achievable, and equitable balance along with other needs in decision-making and the management of our fiscal resources and consideration of sustainability implications in purchasing, sourcing, and supply chain choices. This brings so many implications with it. I'm really curious where this is going to go over time. And then partnerships, to develop a culture of collaboration, learning, and partnerships around sustainability within the district as well as across the community with other school districts, agencies, and companies. We heard a lot of information about what other organizations are doing and committing to do around sustainability. So we thought it was really important to have a strong relationship with those outside those other agencies. And then finally, to monitor and communicate, setting expectations, establishing accountability, monitoring progress, and regularly communicating status. So we wanted to make sure that we included all that in, like any good action plan, it should have some way to measure performance and communicate performance and report on it. And now we're down to the end. So I have on the right-hand side the full statement, commitment to sustainability, and now it's time for questions or comments that you might have, and then we request that you approve the commitment to sustainability.
I'd like to start off, if I may. Thank you very much for this. This is very important, and this is a start. And I really appreciate that because we've had several presentations by students at Sequoia, I believe it was, who provided what they were doing as far as sustainability. And we wanted to go further into that. And so that's a good thing. My question to you is, How will we begin to measure our accomplishments? You mentioned that at the end, but my question is, right now, you mentioned at the beginning that usually if you go down the sustainability pathways, you will find that it becomes expensive. How are we going to establish measurements like percentage a year, programs we implement, things that we do, and then how are we going to measure what we've been able to accomplish?
Really a great question. I would say the different ways of measurement that you just mentioned, we would be using all of those. I think there's so many aspects of sustainability that our first order of business, I think, would be to come up with some kind of a shared understanding of the work that we've done and are doing around sustainability. Because I think that right now we are doing a lot. And so the presentation we gave you in August shared some of that. We didn't really in that presentation get into a lot of the work we've done as a district in our instructional program around sustainability. I know we've done a lot. So I think one of the first things to do would be to develop a better and understanding and share that understanding about what we've done.
What we've done so far.
Yes, and then and talk about where we're going with it all. And I think that is the work coming up.
And how does this align with our current strategic plan as far as being able to fit somewhere within our plan so that we can continue to receive monitoring status reports on how we're doing?
So it does not align directly with an initiative or a theme that we have going. It aligns directly with our mission statement, which is to prepare our students for, it's to inspire, educate, and prepare each student to achieve the high standards, contribute to our community, and thrive in a global society. That is directly related at a very high level to sustainability. It's preparing our students to thrive in a society. So, but it does not connect directly to one of our priority student outcomes or themes. And but nevertheless, we can provide information to the board next year for example, in a work session or something in a similar manner to what we do with our initiatives. If the board, we'll work on the board agenda plan this summer at the workshop, I'm sure, and we can talk about it.
Thank you. Directors, Director Nichols?
Thank you for facilitating this group and getting this this commitment in front of us. This is something I personally have a lot of stock in, although in a very niche part of the sustainability movement. But what I found interesting, and maybe this is something we can look at if this moves to like a policy and procedure type progress, is it touches on it, but it doesn't specifically call out taking into consideration the long-term value or implications of the investment we make in sustainability, right? Because sustainability is not a one-to-one kind of investment. It's something we do now for the benefit 20, 30 years down the road. And so when we make those supply chain choices, those purchasing choices, things like that, we need to find a way to balance that with, okay, yeah, it might be a little bit more expensive up front than this other option, but what does that gain us long-term? So keeping an eye on that, I think going forward would be something that would benefit us.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I have a few things, and the first one is a really big thank you for doing the committee work this year. I think I was looking back at our strategic themes of community engagement, and I feel like this is a great example of, as you were saying, sort of harnessing passion out in the community and bringing that to us as a statement that I know I'll be supporting tonight for sure. So I just want to say how much I appreciate the process that has happened in order to get to this point. Because I know this was a year in the making. I really appreciated these 6 statements that were included. Hadn't realized they were in priority order because the 2 that I wanted to discuss were the last 2, but so it just so happens that way. But the developing the continued culture of collaboration, and this was already mentioned, I would love to see this continue on in some type of advisory council, just continuing this on, which is, I think, the direction we're going tonight. But it sounded like there were people that were, ready to commit again to this sort of work. Yes. And so that was one of my hopes going forward. Also, President was saying the same question about the setting expectations, sort of the how and when of that, whether that's something maybe we discuss at the board retreat, that sort of thing is sort of the next steps that did bring, and this is, I had a curiosity of, do we use, because looking through some of the materials of what we already, as you were saying, we actually already do a number of things. Do we use the Energy Star Portfolio Manager? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that already is going to give us data, correct?
Yeah, we are. We're developing a much more sophisticated approach to tracking information about our buildings with regards to the Clean Buildings Act.
Right.
In fact, I was given a 2-page kind of a technical summary of the work that we need to do in compliance with that to hire an energy manager, and they need to develop an operations, I think, forget what it's called, but it's like an operations plan for each of our buildings that are subject to the Clean Buildings Act. That is work that that will happen as part of the $30 million funding package that we have in the levy that the voters passed last year. Okay. So that's work that we are putting together. We are and have been using, I believe, the Energy Star portfolio already, but that will enhance our use of that.
That was, and that's, I think, what when in discussions of there's actually a lot that we either are currently doing, and I would love to track that and set goals so that we can sort of see where we are in alignment with other districts, the building size, whatever metrics we can be using.
And I think that is contemplated in the Clean Buildings Act compliance. Okay. That is, you're right on target with that.
So with that, I also love that you included the communicating out there, that can be part of what we do, is just simply just letting people know what is happening and continuing that. Some celebrations coming up. Another question: our e-buses are they still on track?
Yes, they are. Okay. I believe mid-July, we're planning to receive the 3 buses at our transportation department, and the charging systems are ready to go for those, and they will be in service by the beginning of the school year. Fantastic. And as you know, we are already using the electric van in our maintenance department.
Yeah.
And our Durham Transportation is looking for other grant opportunities. They do come at a cost, and as has been mentioned, one of the things we need to work on is how to appropriately evaluate and make decisions around issues that are sustainable that cost more money.
More money, yeah.
And that is part of our work that we need to do.
The green tax. What I also like about this work is that, from what I understand, having some of these things in place will make us a better candidate for grant applications by sort of having some things in line, sort of being ready when these might become available.
I would guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just with that, just another really big thank you for this work. And I'm really excited for what we can be doing, looking forward.
Yeah, thanks.
Director Mason.
I do have a couple comments. First, I also want to say thanks for this work. I was actually Impressed with the presentation you gave us last summer of the work that's already currently underway and how we are adapting and evolving towards more sustainability in our district. And also in our curriculum, the update that Dr. Bowden gave us, I thought was really insightful as well. So I think we are definitely on the right track. My question really is, and I think all the directors have sort of touched on this, is next steps. You know, where do we go from here? If we approve this tonight, a lot of this language is, it's not vague, but it's not super specific either. And so there were a lot of suggestions like, you know, auditing schools, updates on policy and procedure, making the council permanent, adding a position. How do we have that discussion, and how do you have that discussion to report back to us? And that's just kind of a question to throw out there. And then I guess also, how does the board monitor this work, you know, without being too detailed? So for example, tonight on our consent agenda, we approved replacing a convection oven and a electric range with a new gas range. So that's, to me, not a step towards sustainability. That's kind of where we're trying to move away from. How do we kind of get, without every little detail, how do we support your efforts, I guess, as we move forward with this? And that's maybe that's a
great
statement.
Question.
That's great.
And I think that I don't have prepared answers for all of the
Right, I understand. I think I'm
of that.
posing them for kind of a bigger discussion at some point.
Yes.
Perhaps at the retreat.
You guys have anything?
Student rep, do you have any other follow-up questions you have, comments? Or sustainability?
I do have one last
Yes.
comment suggestion just going forward as this work continues. There are kind of low impact staffing costs, things that we can do to innovate on this, like instead of, hiring out or contracting out for certain work, maybe offering some of our grounds crew arborist training and looking at switching to native grasses and native plants when we do these school builds and things like that. Those types of ways we can both enhance our workforce without maybe creating whole new positions or contracting opportunities, I think would be important to look at going forward. And that was the last thing I had to say about that.
Any further questions or comments? The recommended action for us this evening is that the Board of Directors approves the Everett Public Schools commitment to sustainability. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Director Nichols and seconded by Director Mason that we approve the Everett Public Schools commitment to sustainability. All those in favor, please respond by saying, oh, sorry, before we go, I apologize. Students representatives, do you have an advisory vote or opinion that you would like us to consider?
You
How would you
support
vote?
or?
What do you
can
think?
sustain or
Should we
abstain if you-
approve this going forward? I mean, sustainability, looking ahead, is this something that we should consider for the next generations that will come after us? So you approve. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The motion carries. We have agreed to the commitment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that was, the motion was made by Director Nichols and seconded by Director Mason. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 14.02, adoption of policy 4207, regulation of firearms and dangerous weapons on school district property, proposed revision, second reading. At this point in time, we are opening this up for discussion. for directors to respond by any concern. My concerns, I have not changed my opinion about my concerns. I still think it an issue, even though individuals can have weapons in their car and locked as a, pistols, handguns in their car locked. I think it's still an issue having them on campus. And that is one of the reasons why I'm looking to maybe reconsidering our focus on that issue. I know it's the law, but I'd just like to open it up for discussion and see how everybody feels about this, and perhaps even get Mr. Fleckenstein to reiterate what the law actually states, if he would.
I actually maybe have another way to ask that question is, if we did not approve this change or we removed it, what does that mean in terms of legal? Now you're an attorney, right?
Is our attorney still?
I mean, it would mean that we're in contempt of the law, correct? Or?
I will say I'm not an attorney for the record, and I cannot provide legal advice.
I'm just, I'm not looking for legal advice. I'm looking for.
I am.
I will give you some background just to remind how this came to be. So in particular, remember the House of Civil Rights and Judiciary Committee presented this particular bill. Their first reading of it was on January 25th of 2022. It ended up passing the Senate 28-20 on March 1st, and then the House 57-41, 57 yay votes to nay votes on March 7th of 2022. This particular law and the policy revisions that we've prepared for you that comport with the law change, the law itself does not go into effect until July 23rd of 2023. So we still have yet just over a month before this particular law change takes place. As it pertains to the law itself, the section that is most of the revisions have been derived from in the law change is here in subsection 3. So section 3 is the portion of the particular law, which is RCW 941-280, around the exceptions to which you cannot possess a firearm on district property. And as we go down into this particular subsection, you'll notice some of the same pieces that are included in the proposed policy revisions you can actually see here. The particular, as I scroll down to, and what was presented earlier this evening, I would like to clarify in subsection 6, it says, except as provided in subsection 3, B, C, F, and H, which is up in here, and I can go back for you. It says firearms are not permitted in a public or private school building. So that is even if you have a concealed weapons permits, they cannot go into buildings. I don't know if there was a misunderstanding of the law change, but that has not changed. Also, key points to point out. In the policy itself, as it's been presented for the board, many of the provisions that already exist under state law for which a firearm can be, a pistol, concealed weapons pistol can be brought onto campus, are not new changes to the law. They've been in existence for some time. For example, as President Lassane just referenced, if you have an unloaded pistol in your glove compartment in your car and you are parked in a district parking lot, that is a legal possession of a firearm in locked vehicle. That's been in place for some time. So the perception that there's never been weapons or weapons do not ever come onto district property under the current law is actually not an accurate assumption. Also, the revisions that you see here is also the major change that the proposed law change that's coming into effect, and then also our procedures, is only persons with a concealed weapons permit. That doesn't mean anybody who may possess a pistol, right, on their person, but only one who's been issued a legal permit under RCW 941-070 is the only ones when picking up or dropping off students or attending a school board meeting off campus, right, may have in their possession their concealed weapon outside of the building. As I shared in our previous board meeting, the board would, if conducting official business off-site, would want to post signs that says concealed weapons permits in building are not allowed in the presence or while board of directors are conducting business. So with that, if you have any further questions that I can answer around these proposed policy changes or make reference to in the law, I'm happy to do so.
So individuals that have concealed carry permits are allowed to have a weapon that is unloaded in their glove compartment or trunk or car, locked in district property. And that's always been the situation.
Yes, let me find that for you here particularly. It is in the law. I don't look at this law every day, but it is in here in terms of being unloaded.
You just skipped it. It says any person of age 18, see where to go.
Yeah.
Number G?
It's right here in F. Any non-student at least 18 years of age legally in possession of a firearm or dangerous weapon that is secured within an attended vehicle or concealed from view within a locked, unattended vehicle while conducting legitimate business at school. And then G, any non-student at least 18 years of age who is in lawful possession of an unloaded firearm secured in a vehicle while conducting legitimate business at the school. Those are changes those are not changes. Those have been in law for some time.
Right.
And are currently in effect in our school parking lots.
But if a person had a loaded firearm still in a vehicle, that would be against the law at all times.
It has to be concealed in a glove box and they have to have a concealed weapons permit.
Okay.
So to address the concerns that we may have or constituents may have, it's really a matter of updating pieces of the law that we're not even considering tonight is sort of what I'm hearing. And so a conversation with legislators would probably make the most sense as we go through our priority list next year and have an opportunity to speak with them.
I believe the action of the legislature is what has driven this particular law to change and go into effect in July 23rd of this year. I also believe the resolution of that to not be that way in the future is also through the legislature. The policy revisions that are presented here comport with state law and are prepared for you to comply with the law as the district entity on July 23rd.
Do you have any background of why the change was made at the state level?
I do not.
I think what I would be interested to know going forward is, something like this, is it, and this is a question for legal, not for you, obviously, can we go beyond the law to be more restrictive in that realm, moving forward? What is compelling us to update the policy outside of just change in law? Like, do we have to update the policy, or can we be more restrictive? And if not, because I'm a concealed weapons person, right? I have a permit. I carry in certain circumstances, obviously not here, but I also believe that firearms don't have any place in our schools, and I would like to see these state laws changed. And I know that it has to be at the state or federal level for these laws to change. But my question is there anything that would allow us to be more restrictive, and or does this need to be like, do we need to instigate some legal challenge in court, like those types of things? those are all possible ways forward, but I don't see us getting around it without that information, getting around approving this.
And to be clear, as you stated, this is only pertaining to people who have been issued a legal concealed weapons permit through the state of Washington. It's not for Joe Blow citizens.
Yeah.
Right. But the comment was, can we be more restrictive? And what requires us to make the change to the policy? Can we choose not to make the change to the policy?
I think that's probably a question perhaps that can be directed to the superintendent's office for a more qualified person to answer.
Yeah, if Ms. Mack could get back to us on that, I think it would be.
If I just might add one thing, I will get with Ms. Mack. This is what Director Mason said, and you said, Director Nichols, this is where we got to continue talking to our legislators. I mean, it's very clear as we lobby for them to, when they make these laws, that how it impacts schools. But I will get with legal counsel. But we will continue to work with our legislators. Have to.
Right. I just, I don't know, I guess, the specific laws on drugs on campus, but, there was a big push at one point to make all campuses drug-free zones. Didn't matter who you are, where you come from. It was pretty clear, and I just can't imagine why we can't get there with firearms.
I would put forth a motion to actually table this proposed revision until we can get a response from legal on what our options would be, if any.
I would agree with that.
So is that a second?
I would agree with that. Are there comments, concerns? Therefore, we shall table this until we can get some legal representation to give us further clarification as to what would happen if we choose not to include this and be more restrictive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the next item of business is section 15.0, which is upcoming agenda items. Dr. Salzman, what's planned for
Thank you,
next
Madam
meetings?
Chair and Board of Directors. In fact, I have one point of privilege, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
One is, I know she spoke, and I think she's still here, but Ms. Thompson, who's an amazing teacher, our board cares about our kids, as you could see. So it's a moral problem with this firearms. We're looking into it, but I always enjoy going to your classroom, and you're one of the best robotics teachers we have in the district. So thank you. I'm glad. Always feel you could come speak, as you know. Okay, and then.
I know that it's not my turn to speak, but I just want to say that it took everything I had to sit here alone.
Thank you. Stay, we're almost done. And then for sustainability, I just want to say this to the board. First of all, Mike Gunn, thank you, because you always came to my office to fill me in, and I want the public to hear it. I think we could always give updates on sustainability like we do with strategic planning, that to keep you informed on where we're headed. Hard to measure, and it's a growing thing all the time, but we can give you updates, and we will do that. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you for that. At the June 15th special meeting, the board will attend Sequoia High School's commencement, our first commencement of the season, Thursday night. At the June 17th special meeting, the board will attend the spring summer commencement of 3 high schools. It's an exciting time. And then on June 27, 2023, board workshop planning, 2023-2024 budget adoption, first reading. We're going to have our graduation updated class of 2023 and the preview of summer graduation, state auditors reports, discipline appeal council, PTSA limited use permit, and the Imagine Learning contract. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Salzman, and thank you for your comments. We really appreciate them so very much. And I made the comment regarding how does that sustainability fit in our strategic plan. I'm looking forward to those study workshops and updates. We'll now move to section 16.0, which is executive closed session. Tonight, there is no executive session, but immediately following our regular board meeting, the board will hold a closed session to discuss bargaining. This brings us to item 17.01, which is adjournment. This meeting is now adjourned.